I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Well, I want to begin today by sharing a story of a man who came to a Unity Church in St. Louis when I was minister there. He was living with HIV/AIDS. And he arrived feeling isolated, feeling separate, feeling uncomfortable, feeling unhappy with himself, feeling sad. And he didn't know what to expect from our community. However, he had heard that Unity was an accepting congregation ministry. He walked in seeking something that he didn't quite know what it was. And our church community embraced him immediately. People reached out to him, offered him their hand, took him out to coffee, invited him into their homes to share food with him. And through the next months, through the practical spiritual teachings of unity, through the message of inherent love and divine presence, he began to find his true self. He attended classes, he came every Sunday, and he was loved unconditionally. Over time, he was transformed. He found his voice. He found his heart. He found a community that loved him and supported him and empowered him. He discovered his spiritual home. He shared his story as we shared ours. He discovered his true self. He found that he no longer was defined by his illness, but by strength, joy, peace, and love. He found peace by discovering this divine presence that was reflected to him through this community. And he found it by looking within and connecting with that truth and the love and the joy and the peace and the power that was within him. He was transformed. This story speaks to the power of community. Also, this message is at the heart of Rainn Wilson's book, Soul Boom. One that invites us into this presence, into a community that accepts and loves us. This book is called Soul Boom. He calls it a revolution, right? But I like to think of it more as a modernization. He is presenting spirituality and truth in a way that Unity has always embraced, in a way that spiritual paths that are accepting and open and inclusive teach. You know, we've been doing this series. I had planned on doing it for 5 weeks, but I discovered in writing this talk that it felt like it was time to bring it to a close. That I had covered the things that I needed to cover in this amazing book. And the book is Soul Boom, Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution. And in the process of being with this book, and I've read it a couple times, And in the process of talking to many of us in this community, I started to get the sense of a different, a more inclusive, a more pronounced, a specific vision for unity on Maui. I'm going to share that with you in just a moment, and to say that this is what has come to me, and I believe there will be a time when we get together as a community and decide on a vision for this ministry that is different than what it is now. Perhaps it's more expansive. And I'm going to apologize when I show you this slide because there's a lot of words up there. And I know because I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I listen to a lot of speakers, and they always say, don't put too many words on a slide. So I never do, except sometimes when it seems appropriate. So I'm putting the vision up here. I'm going to read it to you in just a moment. And know that it's also in the Walk Your Talk that's back there that you can take with you today, as well as the points that I'm making today in this talk. So this is what came to me. We are a spiritual community where every person, regardless of age, background, or orientation, feels valued and accepted. We celebrate wisdom from all spiritual paths, integrate insights from science, psychology, and advocate for social and environmental responsibility. Through teachings and practices that inspire personal growth and collective action, we create a world embodying compassion, understanding, and unity. I think that my feeling is that it's time right now on our planet to be a part of a ministry, to be part of a teaching that is inclusive and includes everyone, everything, every teaching, every spiritual practice. So, why do we need a spiritual community? Why is that important? Well, it seems to me that right now, people feel isolated. They feel divided. Have you noticed? And at times, people might even feel hopeless. And as we and I sometimes scroll through the endless feeds on the internet, bombarded by everything that we lack, while real face-to-face connection becomes rarer. And that's why spiritual communities are essential. To be a part of something that's real, something that's bigger than ourselves. You know, a spiritual community offers a number of things. It offers belonging and connection. There's a profound sense of belonging in a spiritual community like ours that attracts open-minded people that are accepting and loving. And when we're part of a community like this, it allows us to feel a sense of belonging. Haven't you felt that here and in other unity communities? I know there are people here this morning from other ministries throughout the United States. And don't you feel that? And that's what's really one of the real special things about unity. You know, life is filled with challenges. Have you noticed? Health issues, personal loss and challenges. And of course, there's good things too. But a spiritual community is a place where we can feel supported, where we where we can be encouraged to, as we sometimes share our struggles, and we find that there's a commonality in our struggles, and we can be here for each other to support and love each other and see a higher vision for people's challenges. Being a part of a spiritual community offers opportunities for growth. You know, a spiritual community that we truly participate in gently pushes us out of our comfort zones. Have you ever noticed? Right? And sometimes we go, I don't want that. I don't want to be pushed. I don't want to work anymore. Yeah, but as soon as we do that, we're giving up. Right? Because this whole spiritual journey that we are on is about overcoming the doubts and the fears that sometimes show up for us. So I'm encouraging you to dig in. Right? This whole talk is for this community, for us to come together in this truth in an open-minded, loving way. And I'm also asking you to step up your game. Because the planet needs us. Consciousness needs us, needs this message that we have right now. You know, we grow as we have shared challenges and experiences and encourage each other. You know, when we can share our challenges with somebody and they can pray with us or they can hold our hand, there's a connection that happens there. Have you noticed? It's like, wow, this person gets me. They see me. And we all want to be seen. You know, a spiritual community offers a space for joy and celebration. Spaces, times when we can mark the celebrations, the rituals that bind us together. When we share laughter and joy, even when we share sadness. You know, some of the most amazing events that I've ever been a part of is a memorial for somebody that we love, right? And we've had a few of those in the last few years. But there's something that touches our heart when we celebrate even the difficult times. Take a breath. I heard somebody take a breath. It was like, just take a breath. This is the truth. This is why we're here, to connect and to love. You know, when we're part of a shared community, we share wisdom together. When we are together and we're having a profound conversation, have you ever noticed sometimes you tap into something that you didn't know was there? That you say something that's extremely wise, right? Because the old phrase, where two or more are gathered, what's the rest of it? I am there. What's the I am? It's the Christ presence. It's the wisdom, that's knowledge. So when we are together and we share, we tap into that Christ presence, that love, that power. And as we do that, we find the wisdom, we find guidance, we find love, we find power. We find things that we could not have discovered alone. And the next thing that we can experience in a spiritual community is accountability and encouragement. Some people go, look, accountability. Right? When we're part of a spiritual community and we're really playing and we're really engaged, people are going to hold us accountable, aren't they? Right? Don't you love that part? Not so much, right? But it's all part of the spiritual path. It's part of spiritual growth. And what I love too about being a part of a spiritual community is that if I'm not doing my spiritual work, something reminds me of it. Right? True for you? It's like I've had people say to me, "Hey, Rev, when was the last time you meditated?" I have to think about it. Or when was the last time you used an affirmation? When was the last time you prayed with somebody? You know, a community helps to keep us accountable and encourages us to continue our work. And as a spiritual community, we become part of a collective impact on the world. The principles, the things that we talk about and study here affect us personally. They affect our family. They affect our friends. They affect the world, right? Because we know that when we are different, the world does what? It acts different. When we show up with love, the world does what? Shows up with love. When we are peaceful, the world is peaceful. When we are joyful, the world is joyful. So, being part of a spiritual community can also be a catalyst for change. We have I call it a unique practice here. It may not be so unique, but when we have a potluck here, we don't use paper plates and plastic utensils, right? Because we have belief in protecting our environment. So we encourage people to bring your own plates, bring your own utensils, and we invite you to put those in a plastic bag, take them home, and deal with them yourself, right? And I know that just that practice, that we do that, like plants a seed in our consciousness, right? In your consciousness to protecting, respecting, being responsible for our environment is powerful, right? And I want to be a part of that. So each of us is, by making a small contribution, can change the world around us. So let's say our affirmation together, and I just invite you to feel how it feels to say this and to carry this affirmation forward with you this week. Let's say it together. I am helping to build a compassionate, inclusive, spiritual community that honors everyone. So you might say, okay, well, how do we nurture and build this community? How do we do that? What can I do? First of all, you can show up. You can show up. You did that this morning. Congratulations. You showed up, right? So I'm encouraging you to make coming here, watching us on Facebook, being a part of this community, and not just showing up on Sunday, but show up for other things as well that we're going to talk about in just a moment. So I'm inviting you to show up. Get up off your couch. No offense, people watching this on Facebook. But to get up off your couch and be here, because this is where the magic happens. I know it happens out there too, but when we are sitting face to face, looking each other in the eye, that's where the magic happens. And the next thing you can do is tell your friends about unity. Encourage them to come, right? Tell them, this ain't your mama's church, right? Most likely, this is something we do here is different. We honor everybody just as we do the things that our vision statement said we do. And I invite you, right, because I think I've been told many times that unity is probably the best kept secret in the world, right? And it's time to take these principles, these ideas out there and love the world so much that they can no longer be separate. They can no longer preach separation and fear. So what else can we do? Well, we can help organize activities. And I'm really opening this up to all of us today, to look at what can you bring to Unity on Maui? What kind of activities can we do? I think it's really interesting. Emily and I were talking about this yesterday, and she said that the thing that made her feel welcome here was a few years ago in preparation for Easter. We got a bunch of plants, and she and Anna Lane were out weeding in our garden and planting flowers. And she said, that made me feel a part of Unity. How interesting, right? Hands in the dirt, right? In the ground, planting, pulling weeds made her feel a part of this community, and she made a connection with Anna Lane. And also, she told me another example of which we'll be doing this before you know it, and that's decorating our sanctuary for Christmas. And she said she was working alongside Phyllis, right? And Phyllis has this amazing ability to decorate, right? And she said that working with Phyllis and hanging bows and Christmas decorations, she had a fun time getting to know Phyllis and just hanging decorations. Another time, and we're about ready, in need of doing this one again too pretty soon, and that is to do a deep cleaning of our church, right? And Emily said that she was sweeping out the window sills with Robin, our amazing musician, right? And we all in love with Robin for up here when she's singing and dancing and playing her guitar, right? And Emily said that she really fell in love with her sweeping out the window sills, right? And seeing a different part of her. Another thing that we can do to build community is to create small groups. Some time ago, went to Unity Walnut Creek, which is where I found Unity in Walnut Creek, California. And I went to their Sunday service, and after their service, the men's group was throwing a lunch for everybody. And I'll mind you, it's a huge church. They have 200 or 300 people on Sunday, and they had probably about 30 men in their men's group. And their men's group meets once a month, and here they are making a lunch for their entire congregation. Wow. So how about a men's group? How about a women's group? How about a book study? We've done numerous book studies, and Emily and I have done them. But what I'm doing, I'm going to open this up to you and say, what book do you want to study? All right? Because I can't do everything, and certainly if I did all the things I'm suggesting for you today, I wouldn't have time for anything else. But so I'm inviting you to be a part and participate in this. Or how about, and I love this idea, and I would be a part of this idea if we had a ukulele sing-along group, right? It's big in the country and in the world right now. And who plays ukulele in here? Anybody? Okay, well, if we started doing that, more of you would come. It is so much fun, is it not? It's a great bonding, singing, laughing experience. So what if we had more intergenerational activities, right? Where we invited youth in, not because we have an agenda to attract youth, but maybe we do, but just to offer something to the larger community, something that young people can appreciate, and some of us of a certain age can teach and direct and support. So my call to action for you today is to ask yourself, how can you contribute to this community? What can you do to share your gifts, your light, your love, your talent with Unity on Maui? And I'm going to invite you after the service today to connect with somebody that you don't know. And when you connect with them, just to ask them some questions, to really practice being here, being present. And we're going to lock the doors. So those of you who are thinking it might be time to get the hell here, because I know that every connection we have strengthens our bond, strengthens the truth within us, strengthens the love within us, strengthens the light that we have. And I know that the small things that we do radiate out into our communities. If we live on Maui, it's here. If you live someplace else, it's there. I want to share a story with you today. I've told it before. It's one of my favorites. It's called The Rabbi's Gift. A monastery had fallen on hard times. It was once vibrant and prosperous. People used to come from all over to this monastery to picnic. They'd bring their children and they would play and throw frisbee and just have a great time and eat amazing food and walk around this beautiful grounds. But something happened. The monastery became decimated. It got down to only 5 monks, the abbot and 4 others, all of them over 70. Clearly, it was a dying order. And deep in the woods, the beautiful woods that surrounded the monastery, was a little hut that was the hermitage for a rabbi in the nearby town. And one day the abbot decided to visit the hermitage to talk to the rabbi and see if the rabbi might offer any advice about how he could invigorate the monastery. Well, the rabbi welcomed the abbot and said, "I know how it is. The spirit seems to be gone out of the people. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." So the old rabbi and the old abbot wept together. They read parts of the Torah and spoke quietly of deep things. And then the time came when the abbot had to leave. And he stood up and he said, "It's been wonderful being with you. Oh, but I have failed in the very reason I came here." And he said, "Do you have any advice that might save my monastery?" And the rabbi said, "No, I'm sorry. I have no advice. But I can only tell you this. The Messiah is one of you." So the abbot went back to the monastery and he told the other monks what the rabbi had said, that the Messiah is one of us here at the monastery. And the monks were like, "Well, do you think he's talking about the abbot?" "Oh, of course. It must be the abbot who has been our leader for so long." But on the other hand, he might have meant Brother Thomas, who is undoubtedly a holy man. Certainly, he couldn't have meant Brother Elrod. He's so crotchety. "Yeah, but Elrod is very wise. Surely he could not have meant Brother Philip. He's too passive. But then, magically, he's always there when we need him. Oh, of course, he couldn't have meant me. But what if he did? Oh, Lord, not me. I couldn't mean that much to you, could I? As they contemplated this, the old monks began to treat each other with respect, with extraordinary respect and love, on the off chance that one of them might be the Messiah, and on the off chance that any other of the monks might be the Messiah. Because the forest was beautiful and lovely, and people loved to walk in the forest. They would occasionally visit the monastery to picnic or wander along the old paths, most of which led to the dilapidated chapel. They sensed that something was different. There was an aura of extraordinary respect and understanding and love among the old monks. And people began to come more frequently. They began bringing their friends, and their friends brought friends, and they worked to clean up and redecorate and improve the monastery. Some of the younger men who visited had been conversing with the monks. After a while, one asked if he might become a monk, and then another, and then another, and another. And the monastery once again became a thriving order, thanks to the rabbi's gift. A vibrant, exciting, authentic community was born. So in conclusion, today we've discussed the importance of building a nurturing and thriving spiritual community, one that embodies compassion, acceptance, growth, love, wisdom, shared service, and the power of connection. I know that we can bring amazing gifts to what appears like a disconnected world. That the truth that unity has, and the truth that we teach, and the love that we share can contribute to something greater. Something that our island, something that our communities, something that our United States, something that our planet is desiring. A desire to be something greater. And I have one final thought from Rainn Wilson's Soul Boom. He says, real change starts when small groups of people come together with love and purpose, creating ripples that move out into the wider and wilder world. The Messiah is in our community. And today, when you share with people after the service today, when you're talking to others, remember that this might be the Messiah. And remember also, you might be the Messiah. Say it together, I am helping to build a compassionate, inclusive, spiritual community that honors everyone. And I invite you to close your eyes. Breathing in. Imagine that your feet are touching the ground, and they're touching the very essence of this sacred land that we're on. And know that this is a sacred moment right now. That you are a sacred expression of love and light and truth. Know that you might be the Messiah. Breathing in and breathing out. Imagining that you're one with this beautiful land upon which we sit. That you're one on this amazing, beautiful blue marble rotating around the sun. One with all life. A life that is calling you. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's just hold this vision of oneness for a few moments. Breathing in and breathing out. Imagine that you are the Messiah. There are many Messiahs. And you are one. And gently begin to bring your awareness back to this moment. And I invite you to begin to see the light through your eyelids, to open your eyes when you're ready. And I behold the Messiah in you. Namaste. Oh, see, Eleanor just left to go count the offering. Here she is. Come on up here, you. Well, Eleanor just finished her term serving on the board for 6 years. How long were you on it?
Something like that. I don't know. It goes by so fast because we're all always having fun.
Well, we're having a great time. And thank you for your wisdom and for your light and for the love that you brought. And much of that time, Eleanor served as board president. And I'm so grateful for you, for all that you bring and all that you do on top of your board service to Unity on Maui.
Thank you. It is truly my pleasure. It is a great pleasure to serve Unity because I totally believe in all the principles and you and the message you bring and all the beautiful people that come, and we can share the space and share the beliefs and share the energy, share the action.
Share the mic.
Even share the mic, yeah.
I think everybody heard you,
I hope
except
so.
for the possibly the people watching on Facebook. Oh, that's what I'm getting to that. People are like, hurry up, Rev. We got to get home. It's lunchtime, And Marlene's doing a great job on video this morning. Thank you, Marlene, for doing that. And she's communicating with people out there on Facebook also. So anyway, it's my pleasure to offer you this lei.
Thank you. Oh, it even matches my dress.
And we have a card for you. And if you didn't get a chance to sign this, I'm sure Eleanor would love for you to sign it after the service. And we got a little gift certificate in here for you as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love what you said, Eleanor, about serving on the board. Some people think, serving on the board is a difficult job. We make a lot of decisions. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughter. And I hope that you will consider it at some time. We won't need any board members until about this time next year, but please consider doing that. All right, what do I got next? Something else here. On Sunday, November 17th, we have a concert. Marianne, you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, we got our Simple Pleasures band. We have James and then Rita Massey on bass and our wonderful John Darling on drums. And we're going to come on Sunday the 17th at 4 o'clock. And we would love to raise some funds for the Unity on Maui cause. We'll also be streaming live. And it'll be the Simple Pleasures band, a.k.a. the Unity band plus one. We've got lots and lots of wonderful songs for you. You can also hear them this Saturday as a precursor at the Coffee Attic at 11 o'clock. But we're going to be featuring Jason on some of the songs there, and some originals and some Hawaiian ones and Latin ones and who knows what else. So come on down this Saturday at the Coffee Attic at 11, or on Sunday the 17th, come on over and bring your friends because we're going to have a toe tapping time.
Woo-wee. And we'll put together a flyer and put it in the newsletter and also talk about it some more next Sunday to remind you. But put it on your calendar. It'll be fun. Also, the Sunday after that, we're going to do our Thanksgiving potluck on Sunday, November 24th. I'm estimating from 12 to 2. So put that on your calendar as well. Bring out your best meal that you want to share with all of us. And I think we may have a sign-up sheet next week for that too, to kind of for people to put down their ideas of what they might bring. So we make sure we're not all bringing chips and salsa, but we'll have a good time. Our potlucks are always great. We always have fabulous food around here. So please put it on your calendar and plan on come. Well, it's funny, we talked about building community today, and we're kicking it off right away with some great activities right here at Unity. And if you enjoyed the talk today, my walk your talk, as I call it, is back on the back table. It doesn't look like that. It's not green. It's just white. Anyway, it's back there. Has today's date on it. It has the vision that I created, and it also has all the pieces of my talk today. And I hope you'll take one and play along with us. And next Sunday, I'm starting another series that I'm calling Gratitude Across Spiritual Traditions. And because it's Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving's coming up, I'm going to talk about a different spiritual tradition each Sunday and what some of their gratitude practices are. And so we'll learn some chants, some prayers, it's really wide open as far as what we might create. Next Sunday, my talk is going to be called The Healing Power of Gratitude, Wisdom from Indigenous Cultures. And so I am working on that already to look at what, the indigenous cultures were so grateful for the land we live on and for all of the elements. And so we'll talk about that and talk about the sacredness of that and even have some practices that we can do to connect with them. And let's really have a thankful November. All right. And so I think that is it. I think we've covered everything. Why don't you stand and we'll pray and affirm the prayer for protection, and then we'll do something that's really fun, and we're going to go into a circle and sing the peace song. Can you handle all that? I know you can. So for ourselves, for this ministry, for all life, let's pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is. God bless you all. Thank you for being here today.